I'd like to call the City of Elkhorn Common Council February 21st, 5:30 meeting to order. If we could please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Bruce Lechner,
Here.
Tim Sharota,
Here.
Gary Payson Jr.,
Here.
Ron Dunwoody,
Here.
Scott McClory is absent, Ken Meinel,
Here.
Carol Young.
Here.
Moving on, next we have public comment. Anybody here for public comment tonight? Okay, we'll move on to next. Consent agenda, we have the council meeting minutes of February 7th, 2022. Everybody seen that in their packet? Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
We have a motion to approve. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second. Any questions or discussions or changes on the minutes? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed for the minutes of February 7th, 2022. Next, we have bills payable, consideration and recommendation to pay $6,168,495.56. Everybody had them? Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
We have a motion to approve. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. Do we have any questions or discussion about any of the bills in your packet? Roll call, please.
Ron Dunwoody,
Yes.
Tim Sharota,
Yes.
Gary Payson Jr.,
Yes.
Ken Meinel,
Yes.
Carol Young.
Motion passed for recommendation to pay the bills. Next, report of city officers. Mayor, tonight we have the oath of office for Sergeant Rayfield. Sergeant Rayfield, if you could come up to the podium. So that way we'll be able to record and hear everything. Chief, if you'd like to start.
So congratulations, Rob, first of all.
Thank you.
For those of you that maybe don't know Rob, he's one of our own. He's an Elkhorn kid. I'll call him a kid still. He started with us back in January of 2008. He's one of our community service officers. He came through the department as, and then actually came on board full-time in, I want to say, September of 2009. So he was going to the academy during that time when he was a community service officer. He completed his degree at UW Parkside in criminal justice. And we've been very fortunate to have Rob. He's done so much in what I consider still a relatively short period of time with us. During that time, he served in various roles as a training officer. He's been on the mountain bike for us before, done some computer work for us, as well as a firearms instructor. And he's the department's actually first SWAT team member on the county's multi-jurisdictional team. So in what I consider, like I said, a relatively short period of time, he's done so much. And now he gets to move forward into that next chapter. And I think he has nothing but great things in front of him, even after this. And so I'm very proud of Rob. And with that, I think, Ward, if you wouldn't mind swearing Rob in.
Not mind. So, Sergeant, raise your right hand, please. I, Robert Rayfield,
I, Robert Rayfield,
having been appointed to the office of Police Sergeant,
having been appointed to the office of Police Sergeant,
swear or affirm
swear or affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Wisconsin,
and the Constitution of the State of Wisconsin,
and will faithfully and impartially discharge
faithfully and impartially discharge
duties of said office
the duties of said office
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Sergeant, do you want to sign the oath?
You gotta do the legal stuff first.
Then I'll notarize it, make sure you get a copy.
Right
I'd just like to say congratulations and thank you and for all your dedication and time to the department too. So thank you and look forward to your adventures more. Next, we have a report from City Administrator. Jim?
Just one thing, I'd like to introduce everyone to Stephanie Smith. She's the new office manager, replacing Corey when she took over as the finance director. So she's on board today, so if you see her around. And she just wanted everyone to know she had a little accident. She doesn't normally come with the strike under the eye, little skating accident. So timing's everything, but we glad to have her on board here, and we look forward to working with her for many years. Thank you.
Welcome aboard. Thank you. Next, report on liaison committee meetings. Fire advisory, we had a meeting, and I know Rod's still working on Lake Geneva boundaries, right? Because they're still working on. No. Okay. Still working hard on that.
Supposed to be this month.
Well, it was at the end of the month this month. So, next, library.
The library board met on February 10th, and not a lot of highlights. It must be the winter season, but the Friends of the Library are busy planning their next big book sale. The Friends only preview sale will be Tuesday, March 15th, and then a regular sale running March 16th through the 22nd. And the library plans to bring back their in-person adult, teen, and summer reading programs starting on June 5th, complete with a fun kickoff event. In addition, the library and the rec department are actively planning the second annual Sounds of Sunset Summer Concert Series happening in August.
Thank you, Tim. Next, we have recreation advisory.
Just one thing just one thing, March 30th is our next Park and Rec Advisory Board meeting here at City Hall. That's it.
Carl? Next, we have chamber.
Chris, if you would.
Up, but he's like, as long as you're going to be there. Just some old chamber news is on February 5th, we had our snow golf at Evergreen, which was very successful. A little bit of lack of snow hampered some of our fun for some of the holes, but we have successfully, again, engaged Evergreen and scheduled it for 2023. It's actually very fun. You should consider it. You chase a tennis ball on modified golf holes. It's not normal golf holes. So just so you know, you're not hitting a tennis ball with only one club very far. So current stuff that the chamber's working on, you may have seen, depending on if you're a business owner or even the city, we are working on our 23-24 community guide. We will be reaching out with Carl, highlighting Park and Rec, anything else that we need to highlight for the city. I encourage you, if you haven't seen one, you should have been direct mailed one at your home. You all live in the city of Elkhorn, so you got it last year. If there's anything, or take a minute and look at it and see if anything we love suggestions, look at it, anything you'd like us to address in it. Please take that minute if you have a second. Where I think Tim said it's the quiet time, it's the busy time for us in planning immensely. We take January, February, and the beginning of March to plan a lot. So starting in May, on May 11th is our annual golf outing. We are incorporating our annual awards banquet into that event because it will be outdoors at Evergreen to avoid any situation that was going on in February and March. And we will kick off what I call our event schedule, or for us here at the chamber and different things at the fairgrounds that we help facilitate. But May 22nd is our Spring Food Truck Festival, which has been very successful. We already have 15 food trucks confirmed, and we are actually creating a waiting list and may have to address additional space with a permit I've already submitted. And we have 15 vendors throughout the park. So on a side note, I am working with the county on a single day permit. We had talked about this earlier for Oktoberfest, to have alcohol on the grass for that, and that should be on their agenda in March and April. I know Bruce, and I know that they said they were going to reach out to Chief Christensen in regards to that. Apparently, legally and from Corp Council, it has the go-ahead, and now it's just in front of the full council or board members. So we'll go from there. Saturdays on the Square will kick off the following weekend, which is actually Memorial Day weekend, for 12 weeks straight through Labor Day, minus the 4th of July weekend. Our vendors don't want to do that weekend, which is July 2nd. But we have 12 full-time seasoned vendors already, and 3 of them are produce and meat and things like that. So we're finally starting to get some traffic. On that, we also received a grant from Compeer Financial for that to do signage and promotion of Saturdays or a food farmers market. This year, Corn and Brat will be a single-day event, which is kind of taking a little bit of a different spin because volunteers are getting harder to get as everybody is doing more with less or their schedules just don't allow. So it will only be Saturday, July 30th from 10 to 7, and we're adding a few food trucks also with that. But we're also working with Matheson Memorial Library because we're going from 10 to 7, to also bring in a kids event and a movie in the park for that event. So it should be a full day of fun. So I kind of stopped at the end of July. Just some things, just some acknowledgments. The chamber staff in the March is kind of a lot of meetings around the state. We belong to what is called the Wisconsin Chamber of Commerce Executives. Kate and I will be attending that. And then starting in July of this year, I was nominated to the board for that committee, and I will be representing the southeastern part of the state. So basically, Rock, Walworth, Kenosha, Racine, Waukesha, and Milwaukee County. So that's more on a chamber and a tourism aspect. And then in mid-March, we attend the Governor's Conference on Tourism, which is a statewide event of tourism, not only just chamber execs or CVBs like what we do, it's also attractions. It's 3 days of packed breakout sessions, how to do different things. This year is something new. I will be attending MACE, which is Mid-America Chamber Executives. I know it sounds weird. It's in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, but it represents the state of Iowa, Minnesota, Nebraska, both Dakotas, and Wisconsin. And it was highly recommended, and actually I got a grant because of my term starting with the WCCE, so I will be attending that. No cost to our chamber, and Whitewater and Lake Geneva will also be attending. So again, if you have any other questions about what we do or our organizations or input on our community book, anything you want to see highlighted, please reach out to myself, send Ken an email, and we'll get it addressed or taken care of. So, thank you.
Chris? Yes, thank you, Chris. Sounds like
I think Chris did a better job than you could, Ken.
I have to agree with you.
sounds like we got a lot of good things going on this summer, so sounds good. Next, new business. Discussion and decision on the updated amounts from FOF for engineering work related to the Northeast Water Treatment Plant and Lakeland Water Treatment Plant projects. I know Dale's gonna be on Zoom, right? Hey, Dale.
Yep. Can you see and hear me?
Yep. So everybody got the numbers in their packet. So do we have any questions towards Dale, or is everybody pretty self-explanatory? Thank you, Dale, for that, for sure. Do we have a motion to?
You bet.
I'll make a motion to approve moving forward with the FOF proposal.
We have a motion, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Motion and a second, do we have any discussion or questions on the engineering work project? Roll call, please.
Gary Payson Jr.,
Yes.
Tim Sharota,
Yes.
Carol Young. Yes. Ken Minell,
Yes.
Ron Dunwoody.
Yes.
Motion passed. Thanks again, Dale.
All right. Thanks, everyone. Good to see
Next, we have the ordinance number 22-02, an ordinance to rezone the northwest corner of I-43 and South Lincoln Street from M2 to A1. First reading.
Make a motion to approve.
Motion to approve. Do we have a motion or a second? We have a motion and a second. Any questions, discussion?
The only thing I'll say on that is I believe that we're renting that land out, and it's
Yeah, it was,
right, Jim?
yeah, it was inappropriately zoned
Right.
for what we were using it for. The only question, we're on the first reading here, did we go to the second? Did we vote?
Well, you can waive it and just do that.
didn't
That
know
was
that.
not the motion, so
We could
you're gonna have to vote again
No,
the
you
next
know,
time.
it's no rush, I didn't know
Yeah.
if that's what they were doing.
Yeah.
Okay. No, that's fine.
That's what it is. Any questions, discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? First reading passed. We'll come back to the next meeting for the second, so. Next, resolution 22-05, a resolution declaring official intent to reimburse expenditures from proceeds of borrowing.
It's pretty much standard language, so that if we have any expenses that incur, other than engineering, which are allowed prior to actually getting the funds, which is usually late June or early July, then we can go ahead and expend those and reimburse ourselves from the bond proceeds.
I'll make a motion to approve 22-05, is that what it says?
Yep. We have a motion. Do we have a second? Second. We have a motion and a second. Any questions on resolution 22-05 or discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution 22-05 passed. Next, discussion and decision on 2022 fireworks display agreement. Carl, you got the memo on that, right? And
Yes, I did. So J&M Displays reached out to all their customers, just notifying all of them that due to economy, material shortage, everything we've heard, their prices have gone up by 20% for this fireworks display agreement. So I asked them to include two quotes. One quote would reflect what we had this past year for our fireworks show, and the other one would be what it would look like for our 20% decrease. And I wanted to take that to council today to make that decision. So if there's any questions, I can certainly answer them.
Questions, council?
Mentioned that there is funds available to cover the extra cost if you want to maintain the 4th of July fireworks as they have been. Comes through room tax, also land sales. We just sold a piece of land and netted about $82,000. So there are funds available to pay for the extra cost if that's what you choose to do. It's not out of the budget. It's out of other proceeds.
Is this a year-to-year contract with them too?
Yeah, so I think there's yes, it is year to year, but there's a 3-year agreement that we pay early. We get like a discount. This is the only company that I've worked with since being in this position. So there's a contract if you want to get the kind of pay it forward, where you can get a discount in April if you pay it. So yeah, if you don't have that 3-year contract, you don't have that option.
One thing I noticed about the contract, Mayor, was the choice of law under paragraph 11, where it's Iowa. I would suggest that we ask them to change that to Wisconsin. I don't know why we'd have to go to Iowa to sue if there was a problem with the contract.
Very good point. Is this the first year on the contract, or is this the third year?
This will be our 3rd year with JMN.
Contract for the larger amount. 14,000, wasn't it? And so
Consistent with the
keep
minutes
consistent,
of last year's.
including the change the city attorney just suggested.
Okay, we have a
I'll
motion.
second that.
You have a second?
Yes.
Any questions or discussion? Roll call, please.
Tim Gerota,
Yes.
Ken Minell,
Yes.
Ron Dunwoody,
Yes.
Carol Young,
Yes.
Gary Payson Jr.
Yes.
Motion passed to move forward with the 2022 fireworks display agreement. Next, discussion and decision on termination of lease agreement with St. Pat's Catholic Church regarding use of parking stalls for city staff. Since we left City Hall, we don't need those parking stalls anymore. Toward Jim on that? Motion, do we have a second? Second. Any questions or discussion?
Does involve ownership of land, I would suggest that you do a roll.
Roll call, please.
Ron Dunwoody,
Yes.
Carol Young,
Yes.
Ken Minell,
Yes.
Gary Payson Jr.,
Yes.
Tim Sharota.
Yes.
Motion passed for the termination of lease agreement with St. Pat's Church. Next, discussion and decision on dispossession of city-owned land behind VFW and adjacent to St. Patrick's Catholic Church.
Me and Matt met with the representatives from both St. Patrick's and the VFW. And the VFW is putting in a new $60,000 lift in the back of their building. So they would like a couple handicap spots and also the parking spots that we just gave up. The church is willing to designate them as VFW parking. That'll meet their needs, and the church will be the sole owner of this land. If you choose to go, we'll proceed with that if the council wants to proceed in that direction. We do the maintenance right now on that lot in exchange for the parking spaces. Starting next year, there's no reason for us to do any maintenance, but that land kind of stuck in the middle. And rather than having two owners, we just thought the church would own it. They would pay for all the upkeep, snow plowing and everything, but they would designate these spots for the VFW. And if the city's okay, we'll move forward in that direction to basically donating this piece of land in the middle of nowhere to the church. And they would maintain it. So then we'll be out of the business.
That was it.
Straight transfer from the city to the church, if the church elects to use two of the spots for those purposes for the VFW, that's between them and the VFW. We can't control that. It just, council members should understand that that's not part of what we're doing.
We're just transferring the land.
On their representation that they're gonna do that, but if they don't do it, which of course they're gonna do it, I don't think they're not going to, but if they didn't, we have no recourse.
Yeah, and it worked out real well because
Council have any questions? Do we have a motion?
I make a motion that we approve that.
Motion, do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other questions or discussion? Roll call, please.
Carol Young,
Yes.
Tim Sharota,
Yes.
Gary Payson Jr.,
Yes.
Ken Minell,
Yes.
Ron Dunwoody.
yes.
Motion passed for city to move forward with that. Next, consider new application for J&G Liquor LLC Class A Liquor, Class A Fermented Malt Beverage License, 1390 North Wisconsin Street, agent Injure Corey. Lacey just needs a recommendation for council that she can write a letter so they can get their financing to start building their liquor store, saying we will give them a liquor license if they do what they need to do. So that's back to council once, or it's gotta go through all the procedures again once they build the liquor store with the inspections and everything, so. But
We're basically guaranteeing license for them.
Correct.
Which I think is just fine. I move we approve holding the license for J&G Liquor.
We have a motion, do we have a second?
Second.
Second. Any questions or discussion?
I do have a question for the chief. It looks like the initial report, everything's okay so far?
That is correct.
Okay.
The applicant did complete the course over this past weekend as well, so I just got that update today.
Question or discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed for the new application for J&G Liquor. Next, we're going to adjourn into closed session, and we will reconvene in open session for possible action. Do we have a motion to adjourn into closed session? Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed for adjourn into closed session. Council like to make a motion on the possible action on a closed session item?
Wow. I wasn't completely paying attention. I was. But I'd like to make a motion to have the city attorney have a phone conversation with the architect regarding this building and do any type of negotiation, including litigation if necessary.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second. Any questions or discussion?
So just so I'm clear, I am authorized to negotiate and go ahead and file action if necessary without coming back to council for further approval?
Yes, that is my motion.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Roll call, please.
Gary Payson Jr.,
Yes.
Ken Minell,
Yes.
Carol Young. Ron Dunwoody,
Yes.
Tim Sharota.
Yes.
Motion passed. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Do we have a second? Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Meeting adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.